Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully and welcome back to Doom 3 The Lost Mission. We're finally out of the... well, I'd say the worst parts are behind us now. This time we have something a little bit more dicey, and I'm not just talking about my poor attempts to defeat the fucking... commando enemies. But I mean, all that aside, we do get to do some pretty fun stuff. We get to, retrieve the necessary components of the teleporter, but we also get to do something a little bit more interesting. Mainly just exploring the facility and seeing a little bit more of life on board the facility. It's gonna be fun on the bun, and I reckon it's quite good. Like, I mean, we do have a fetch quest, obviously, but I don't know. But sugar, stop being really scary right now. But yeah, we get to do a lot more, and quite frankly, I think the experience is all the better for it. You also do get a little bit more story here, even if it is exposition. Which I suppose is something I could possibly talk about, while we have a lengthy chunk of gameplay to talk about. And I suppose it is also how expository Doom 3 is in terms of story, and I guess this is also something that I think might affect these commentaries in terms of viewer interest, in the sense that while I'm here talking over the gameplay, to kind of simplify a lot of it is usually stuff that's discussed in audio logs, or the sort of thing where you'd probably be best soaking up the atmosphere, if you're playing the game for yourself, which renders a commentary a little bit troublesome in that case, because, it depends on the commentator to be funny or informative, and again, while I can say I'm at least somewhat informative, I'm not very charismatic, so, yeah, a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but again, I do think this is a decent way to showcase the game, and in terms of anything else, I think it is... well, I think what Doom 3 has to offer is interesting, which is why I've spent the better part of... Good lord, 5 years at this point, doing this game. And yes, your ears did not deceive you, we are in the presence of a new monster. I can't remember this thing's name. As soon as we finish this upcoming audio log, which will be after we defeat this thing, I'll tell you all about it. I may have done so in Resurrection of Evil, but I've always considered this enemy, like a television monster or something. I can't remember what I called it back then, but yeah. It's rapid fire, it's pretty dangerous, and out of all the enemies that Doom 3 invented, this is by far one of the more creative ones, actually. Honestly got sad they never incorporated this into any future Doom games, because, well, I mean, I suppose if id Software make like a Doom 3 after Doom Eternal, could possibly be something they could follow up on, it's in terms of having their monsters pay homage, I guess. Oh, then again, I suppose Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal did have some creative enemies of their own, so, who knows, really. Yes, and of course, we can never have fun without the Archvile, our good old buddy. But thankfully, this is why I make use of all the weapons and use grenades, even though they're not quite as effective. But alas, I ramble too much, so, I'm gonna take a drink of the Pepsi, and you dudes and dudettes can listen to some more delicious, delicious, dulcet-sounding tones of our next PDA. Enjoy, kids.
This is Dmitry Lebedev, supply manager for the Exis Labs facility. Entry dated October 6, 2145. I've received the latest shipment of MK7 spacesuits from Earth today. They have a triple weave of titanium mesh on the outer layer for Class 5 excursions. With the ongoing construction requiring additional EVA time on the Martian surface, these new suits should hold up better. In the last 2 months, we've had a number of unexplained suit decompressions resulting in fatalities. In the case of Technician Mike Stanley, the decompression was so rapid the resulting implosion caused him to almost liquefy and fuse with the suit interior. If it wasn't for his suit's name tag, there wouldn't be much to identify him. In each case, the penetrations and loss of pressure appear to occur from inside the suit rather than out. I can attest these suits were thoroughly inspected and micro-scanned after the incidents, and no material degradations were found. Per UAC EVA regulations, the suits before the accidents were properly stored and locked away to prevent any mishandling. I also followed up with the technicians on ensuring the suits had the necessary pre-EVA checklist before anyone reaches the Martian atmosphere. I'm hoping the new suits will address the issue. Each suit lost this way just means more paperwork for me, so... Along with the new suit shipment, we received additional medical supplies. I've placed the extra packs in the storage cabinet 071 with the access code of 532. Dmitry Lebedov, end of log.
And that, dear children, is why you should remember to always seal your spacesuit, because, yeah, those deaths are kind of fucking terrifying. Well, then again, it also kind of gives you pause for thought, because, like, I mean, considering the average armor for UAC personnel who are soldiers, you know, they only have a helmet, no protective coverings for the arms or anything, so, you know, isn't that a bit of a point of contention? Unless, of course, it's just the helmet that needs to be sealed. I don't know, I mean, we're gonna be encountering some, like, biosuit zombies, so, like, I don't know. And again, reminiscent of Doom 3's design, you don't always need to have your flashlight on, but because we have the attachment anyway, yeah, kind of renders part of the design pointless. And, again, as is per usual, unlike classic Doom, gotta pick up the health refills, and, yeah, you can't really get a good look of it out here. You'll be seeing a little bit more of it once we... Oh no, wait, that might have been the last part. No, it's all starting to blend together. And something that I probably should have mentioned actually during Nasir Adil. And his little spiel is the skybox. Actually, you might be seeing it a little bit later actually, so I might point it out there, but yeah, skybox isn't exactly rendered very well. I don't really know from a technical game design standpoint, like, what exactly that would be, like if it was just an aspect ratio kind of thing. Or if they just couldn't find the right, like, for the lack of a better phrase, PNG file to use for the backdrop, but I don't know, seems pretty shaky. But again, as I've mentioned many times in the past, use your pistol for these enemies, take care of it, and don't attempt to be a totally radical dude like I am. This is where I attempt to get a good look, but I'll go get to it. So I just say, screw it and continue on. Ah yes, I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen around here. What is this? It is a maggot, and don't attempt to do this because the maggots move around pretty swiftly, as you're going to be seeing here, and actually a little bit forward. Yeah, like, I mean, the maggots might be pretty weak, but they can easily gang up on you, and they will rip you apart. Like the fans of the Not Slip. But here we come across familiar territory, in very similar offices to what Doom Guy went through actually in the primary game. And these ones are actually a little bit more interesting because, again, as I mentioned before, we get to see a bit of daily life on board the facility. Oh dear. And again, this is also part of the reason why this, well, one of the drawbacks of the super shotgun is the reloading time. Again, with the I probably should have used the regular shotgun for this in hindsight, but alas, I am a fool. And again, I think if there's anything to say is that I think all the demons do have a degree of, well, I guess they're all kind of a degree of threat in this game. And again, like, I mean, completely different genres, obviously, but I mean, comparing this to Doom 2016, when, like, even Hell Knights eventually become paltry in terms of their threat level, there's just something I can appreciate about Doom 3, where all these demons feel kind of threatening, in, you know, whether from regular civilians to, you know, even you yourself. And again, I guess it does kind of put into perspective the whole one man fighting against all odds, as kind of an inspiring point of contention. Like, I mean, classic games play it up in very, like, action movie kind of way, and Doom 2016 plays it up as you're a mythical godlike slayer, which again is good for the player because it makes him feel very empowered. I don't know, just the way in which Doom 3 positions it. It feels natural, even if it does kind of flip the dynamic a little bit, and I can't help but respect that. But alas, it's time to power up. Oh, for the weapon of choice. Again, it's probably been said of me many times, but I will say that the plasma rifle, especially the Doom 3 variant, is by far the coolest looking and my favourite weapon in the game. I don't know why, it's just something about its design elements that just really come together. And I guess maybe also the particle effects on the beam itself. Like, I never really liked the whole... I don't know, I just didn't like the way it looked in the next two Doom games. But alas, it is my perennial need to punch things, corpses, to take out my anger on all the destruction this base has caused. And alas, we shall be coming across Yeah, and I finally figured out this goddamn thing's name. This is the, Hellbruiser, I believe. And now, a bit of interesting stuff I actually found out when I was doing a bit of research. I believe this is meant to be a stand-in for the Barons of Hell, which is actually kind of reminiscent in its design, because, like, you can see the horned design that they also kind of sort of use for the Hell Knight in the classic games. Except the only difference is they modified it with a bit of, you know, technology, with, you know, the television, and with a mouth that actually responds, you know, when it has a bit of pain to it. And they use this 3 times and actually kind of up its threat level, because another significant difference between the main game and this is that you don't actually have any sort of demonic artifact to help you out. You won't have the Soul Cube, and you won't have the, you know, the Heart artifact that you used to defeat the male addicts. So, yeah. This Doom guy is pretty badass for doing all this shit on his own. In fact, who knows, maybe this is the Doom guy, whom of which we will see in the Doom 1, assuming they want to make this part of the main series. Which I am partially hoping they do, because, like, I mean, in spite of what the fans might think, I still think Doom 3 has its accolades, and even, like, I mean, even in the case of id Software themselves, they do still pay slight homage to Doom 3 and its influence. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that. But I mean, like, in Doom 2016, you know, you had the Super Turbo Turkey Puncher, you could see the Soul Cube in Olivia Pierce's office, and again, like, you just had a bunch of nice callbacks, and even the Hell Knight design actually came from Doom 3 to differentiate itself from the Barons of Hell. So, like, I mean, Doom 3 has had its positive impact, and I'm really glad for that. Oh, and I believe this is also meant to be the canonical voice for the fat guy, who's meant to be like a construction worker kind of dude. This does actually also have a tie with another upcoming PDA thing that we'll be filming a little bit later, but, well, just take a listen with this rowdy-dowdy dude.
Travis Folsom, Construction Supervisor for the Exus Labs facility. We recently reached substantial completion on the facility's engineering sector and began work on the environmental systems sector early. At this rate, we should be able to impress the big boys up in Central Authority and score our completion bonuses. Last week I reviewed the construction documents and found another item where we can cut costs. My glass subcontractor mentioned the Moxum pressure seals for the exterior windows can be replaced with much cheaper Mixom seals. I submitted the alternative material selection to the base architect for review. On our Tuesday progress meeting, he argued the Mixom seals aren't up to spec. He complained that those seals are inferior and could cause air leaks or glass blowout. What the hell is he know? Pencil neck draftsman thinks he's designing a fancy hotel. Hey, guess what? I was building shit before he was born. Anyway, I managed to get the Mixom seals ordered. I bypassed the architect and talked directly to corporate. I showed them the savings, and that sealed the deal. We'll be installing the exterior windows in environmental in a week, and he will never know the difference. I'm so convinced the glass and seals will hold up that I'm gonna take a rocket launcher and test it on those windows if need be. That'll show the stupid architect. Folsom out!
Yeah, the stupid architect, what does he know? And this guy isn't actually bullshitting either. This is actually a bit of an upcoming point in the mission we're about to see. So, yes, to any construction workers or tradies or whatever the fuck, pay attention to your window design, because you never know when, in the middle of deep space, demons will attack and your shoddy construction work will bite everybody in the ass just because you want to have your little holiday bonus. But I mean, oh, you probably can't really see it out there, but I mean, yeah, just take a look at that. Actually, no, I think it's kind of lucky that the rusty windows are blocking the disgustingly rendered skybox. And yes, windows destroyed, your air's running out, and you don't actually have any air canisters to help you out this time. And again, much in the same way of games like Tomb Raider, like once you lose out on all your air, you start to drain health and you will die. But again, you also have the pressure of imps, revenants, all that good stuff, just trying to whittle you down. And I also found out that you can actually open the shutters and close them at your leisure. Just strange, really. Oh well. It's all about Doom 3's fun UI interface, which, I don't know. Seems like a very weird thing to pick up, but again, probably made a lot of people in 2004 going, wow, dude, this game is so interactive. It's like I'm literally in the Doom game.
Environmental breach detected.
Yeah, you can't really get a good look at it there either. And you can shoot out the windows to your heart's content, because, I don't know. Fun interactivity in Doom, I guess. I think it was mainly because I was trying to get a good shot of the skybox, but you only really see some rocks in the foreground, so yeah, not really anything you can see there. I don't know, maybe if I get around to reviewing this game and comparing this to the original game, I'll probably point out some of the porting differences, but I don't know. I don't own all the ports of the BFG edition, but I don't know. I guess maybe I could possibly do it sort of like a kind of like a similar vein to what Lotus Prince did with Resident Evil 2 and 3, and I believe the first one if he made a video like that. I don't know, something kind of like those videos if you've ever seen them. Now this might look familiar, an office setting, but this one I actually kind of put above the other one in the sense that, again, you get to hear more about the staff who had to interact with the construction workers, and let's just say we get to see the one other woman on Mars who isn't Elizabeth McNeil, who isn't Teresa. I forgot her name, but she was the girl who became a lost soul. Well, Doom 3's lost soul before they replaced her with the Forgotten Ones, which is basically the classic lost soul. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like, I mean, Doom 3 just has a lot of great moments that are memorable, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess maybe some could call the game's ambient and cinematic qualities paltry by today's standards, but honest to God, it really did go out of its way to make each and every enemy you face feel memorable, and again, I think that's really impressive. Like, I mean, even the smallest imp or the lost soul, to something like the Hell Knight or anything else, to make those things memorable, even, you know, as you come up against them, I think is great. Yes, you can see all the loss of life as they became zombies, and unfortunately, no, you won't be seeing much of the corpse of, well, who we're about to be seeing here, so, before we leave off, I will allow you to listen to the dulcet tones of Bernice Tooley as she complains to HR about life on board staff. It ain't pretty, and let's just say she doesn't exactly suffer a good fate.
This is Bernice Tooley, Operations Coordinator stationed in Exis Labs. I would like to file my third formal complaint to Central Authority about the problems with the work environment here in Exis. It has become increasingly difficult to be productive while construction is going on throughout the facility. The construction workers are rude, lack common courtesies, and are overtly sexist. They use our office space as an unauthorized shortcut and track dirt and debris as a result. In addition to their mess, they insist on drilling and hammering during our core staff hours. Some of them have repeatedly made inappropriate comments that clearly fall under sexual harassment. When I approached the construction supervisor to remedy the situation, he told me in no uncertain terms to mind my own business. Actually, his exact words were, "Don't worry your pretty little head about it." We are already on edge with the unexplained events occurring around the facility, and to add this insult to our tight schedule is too much to bear. If I cannot persuade Central Authority to take this complaint seriously, I'd like to remind them of Section 20, Paragraph 9 of UAC's Facility Regulations Code. It clearly states our employee rights, and we do not need this nonsense. I suggest you reprimand the individuals responsible and take adequate measures to ensure it doesn't happen again. Do not make me log additional complaints. Bernice Tooley, signing off. I hope this thing is working. Something is happening here, and no one knows what's going on. The power is going crazy. We can't communicate with Central Administration, and I've heard something like screams. I don't know. It was so disturbing. Okay, my assistant left me, and I'm all alone here. Okay, I'm gonna try to get the network working, but the systems are acting just crazy. I don't know what to do. I think what was that? Oh my God. No!
Again, I can't get enough of how well Doom 3 is able to characterize all these people. Like, I mean, again, it's just the little things that really sort of build up over time, but again, like, I mean, just seeing little things about, like, you know, workplace relations, and again, you get this with the emails, you know, transmitted around stuff as well. Just seeing, like, how they interact with each other and the way in which, you know, things slowly degrade and tensions begin to shift. Again, it's what I love about Doom 3, but you don't get this with any other game, which, I mean, it's partially because, you know, like, 3 of the classic games were made in the 90s, where you didn't really get a lot of this kind of stuff. But, I mean, and also because the 2 modern games were a little bit more about being more, like, mythology-inspired in terms of how they delivered that story, but again, what Doom 3 succeeds in is really humanizing this whole thing, and, well, let's just say that, it works, unlike the Archvile who took a position in administration, which, is unfortunate because we're all losing our jobs in this current virus-filled environment, and, goddammit, we need it. We can't just give our jobs to the Archviles. It's just not on. I mean, there's outsourcing labor, and then there's collaborating with demons, and, you know, there's the fact that they're taking our jobs. It's just not on. It's a current socio-political issue, you know. We're forced to call them the mortally challenged. You know, they're trying to attack us, but they keep on throwing their plasma balls, so we have to get the grabbers out. It's just not on. It's just not right. I'm gonna advocate against this. I'll lobby in Parliament, gain the sympathy votes, run for the Prime Minister of Earth, and, I don't know, just get drunk and do a lot of drugs and sleep in a bed with many beautiful women with big bags of ice for my head in the following hangover. Where was I going with that? I have no idea. But again, like, I mean, comparatively to the Mars City rehash, again, you get to go through a more interesting and distinct areas, and again, like, I mean, it's not to say that Doom 3 doesn't have any sort of variety to its levels. Again, it's just about spicing it up in the right way, and I think, you know, by seeing different walks of life interact, like, you know, from construction workers to the, you know, the general office administration kind of fare, again, I think that works in helping to diversify the base quite a bit. In fact, even in the main game of Doom 3, where you go through, like, mess halls or, you know, bathrooms and all that kind of stuff, again, like, I mean, having a more naturalistic approach to the game, I think, is good. I don't know, I guess maybe certain approaches work better for the others, because, like, I mean, I don't want to critique Doom Eternal or Doom 2016 for any of this kind of stuff, because, like, I mean, it's designed to be an action game, fast-paced, flowing, and fun, and you don't really want to think about the more mundane details, so again, like, I mean, I don't think it's really one approach that works better than the other, it's just subtle steps that help to make each game distinctive. Except when you're cornered like that, which is just no fun for anybody. As opposed to talk about anything else, because we are rapidly approaching the end, yeah, prepare for expository cutscenes, but again, it does explain a majority of the plot, a bit more of Betruga's motivations and all that kind of stuff. Again, you're going to be talking to Richard Myers, and then I'm going to be playing a... excuse me, playing one of those, like, video file things, which aren't really too interesting, because it has no visuals aside from general UAC user interface stuff. But again, we have a battle against the Hellbrews, and again, I'm gonna say this because this is the last time we're gonna be seeing the fucking thing. Wish it will come back in a future Doom game. Like, the design of this monster is really cool, like, I don't know, man, like, it's sick, and I need it in my life. In fact, I'm actually kind of surprised, like, they didn't have it as, like, any sort of reference in, like, the Doom Eternal, like, figurine kind of thing. But anyway, I'm rambling too much, so enjoy the cutscene, dudes and dudettes.
Excellent. You're back. The inducer is working perfectly, and the teleporter is ready for transport. Here's the situation. There's a teleporter outpost in the other dimension, and it's still operational. It's very powerful, and it has a range that could lead those demons all the way to Earth. I would disable it myself, but it requires 2 people to do it. One person at the outpost to initiate the teleporter, and another person here to transmit a power surge to destroy it. I know it's a lot to ask, but you'll need to go to the other dimension, find the remote outpost, and initiate the startup sequence. You're our only hope of defeating this evil. I've got the teleporter ready to go. All you need to do is go into the chamber and initiate the sequence. I'll handle the rest from here. But before you go, I want to give you my personal account of what happened here. It explains everything. The advanced teleporter, how the madness started, everything. It's over there on the console. Please take it. The world needs to know the truth. And good luck.
My name is Dr. Richard Myers, and I'm a research specialist stationed in Nexus Labs. I don't know who'll be hearing this, but I wanted to alert someone of the disaster at Mars City. What has been unleashed across this base is an unimaginable evil, and we only have a slight chance of stopping it. The research I participated in was the next step in teleportation. To give context to my research, back in 2115, UAC researchers discovered an ancient Martian civilization. At the Urbis dig site, they found a Martian teleportation device. It was non-functional, and all attempts to start it proved fruitless. It took many years, but the researchers managed to learn enough from the device and other wall carvings to reverse engineer it. The first prototype teleporter, codenamed Project Mercury, was built in Delta Labs and became operational in 2139. This teleporter was only capable of short distance travel and limited quantities of matter transference. It could only teleport a single test subject, small animals and chimps usually, across a room. Once testing intensified and technical data increased, we were able to fabricate more powerful teleporters. In Delta Labs Sector 3, Project Gemini managed to increase teleportation across greater distances. In addition to the increased range, we found we could begin transporting human-sized subjects. It was during this stage we began to see the effects of opening up these portals to that strange dimension. Our scientific curiosity overruled the obvious warnings, and under Dr. Malcolm Betruger's direction, we continued experimenting. On Project Apollo, the engineers developed a room-sized teleporter in Delta Lab Sector 4. It was capable of teleporting a small-sized team to destinations on this new dimensional plane. The expedition teams began exploring and setting up small research outposts. We could only teleport small equipment with a Delta 4 teleporter, and this condition frustrated Dr. Betruger. Soon after the success of Project Apollo, plans were drawn and work executed on a new facility, Exus Labs. At Exus Labs, the goal was to create a large teleporter, similar in scale to the one at Urbis. It would be powerful enough to transport large equipment, even dropships, and eventually shorten interstellar travel. Betruger was so impatient on seeing results from this research, he had the engineers start work on the teleporter once the facility reached 75% completion. We had expedition teams set up a teleporter outpost in the other dimension to link up with Exus. It was at this time I began investigating the strange stories I heard over at Delta Labs. I managed to hack undetected into Betruger's personal logs, and what I found scared me to the core. Betruger became obsessed with the findings of this new dimension. He started to push experiments regardless of the human cost. His log entries into the occult and how to harness evil powers were truly frightening. The more recent logs detailed how demons, yes, demons, contacted him through his dreams, offering him unimaginable powers. But they demanded he find a way to help them reclaim Earth. It was then I realized that this other dimension was hell itself. By the time I realized his plan, Betruger had started the invasion. Since the Exus teleporter hadn't reached sufficient functionality, I assumed Betruger decided to launch the demon invasion on Mars without it. However, the Hell Outpost teleporter is operationally ready, and it's only a matter of time before Betruger decides to use it. I'm going to try to reach Chief Engineer Rhodes in the Enpro facility to divert enough power to Exus, and with a little luck, create a big enough power surge to destroy it from here. I can only pray God will forgive me for my part in all this, and help me make things right. Lord, save my soul. Richard Myers, signing off.
Again, like, it doesn't really explain too much about Betruger's past or anything, and that is the one thing I do kind of wish we got a little bit more of, but again, like, I do think it does a good job of explaining exactly how, you know, power-hungry Betruger was and how interested in the science that he was really willing to pursue. Again, I don't really have a lot of time to talk about it now, but we'll save that for next time, so join us next time for the final part of Doom 3 The Lost Mission. I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and we're going straight into hell. Hell awaits!